Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a bit, but we're back from EVO 2025. It's more jam-packed than ever before, and I wanted to share some of my favorite sights and experiences. It's pretty much a convention nowadays. Targets fighting game enthusiasts, but there's plenty to do. So to provide some background, this was my fourth EVO. In 2010, it was pretty much just an over-glorified conference room. By 2018, it was definitely a convention, though. There were plenty of booths. There were prominent sponsors, and by 2024 it had already exploded. There were full-blown booths, an arcade, panels, and so forth. Last year felt like a special moment where everything new collided. There were 4 new main stage games between Tekken 8, Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, Under Night and Birth 2, and Mortal Kombat 1. There were tons of demos for upcoming games, but it was also interesting as Street Fighter 3 Third Strike made a comeback. And I figured, how often was that going to happen? So I had to be there, and of course that was super hype. I wasn't really sure how 2025 would follow that up, but I was curious due to the extended lineup, which included Capcom vs. SNK 2, my favorite fighting game of all time. Right beforehand, we had the bombshell announcement that Arc System Works' Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls will be playable, so this show was the ultimate mix of old and new. EVO is already stacked, but with this extended lineup, there was even more to do, so by no means did I watch or play everything. We're showcasing what I personally enjoyed on the show floor. So with that out of the way, let's dive in. So there was pre-flight hype. On the flight, I briefly chatted about Dragon Ball FighterZ and Granblue Fantasy Versus with my neighbor. Here's a striking cloud shot of flying to LAS. More flight shots. Yeah, I really enjoy being the window seat. I love these little vistas each and every single time. Alright, one final cloud shot before we move right along. The badge pickup on day 0 was actually quite brisk. I shelled up for the Street Fighter 6 design, even though I actually didn't enter Street Fighter 6 this year, but I thought the badge was cool, so I sprung for it. The event has been doing a great job of honoring prominent figures over the years, and just posing in front of the screen. The screen, of course, rotates between different stills. I have the EVO 2025 water bottle right here as well. One of my favorite places in all of Vegas is the Bellagio Conservatory Botanical Gardens. They rotate their exhibit and theme each season. This theme was a glam menagerie featuring furry friends, which I thoroughly appreciated. So you can see striking Dahlia here, cherub and some giraffes right here, more cherub displays here, flamingos, and a tigress on a swing over this reflective pool of water. I thought this was a really cool inclusion, as well as this flamingo as well, this fancy flamingo. Zebras, and went to Secret Pizza tucked away in the Cosmopolitan, sort of a Vegas staple, definitely quite tasty. And another staple is going to the Bellagio Fountain Show. I know it says Caesars in the background, it's adjacent to the Bellagio. Day 1 rolls around, you can see the remnants of the Mirage, which is still a little bittersweet. Of course, Mirage's text is still up top there, and there's a little sign up front here saying thank you to the Mirage team members and the Las Vegas community for 34 memorable years. So yeah, still bittersweet. I did like the interior and the design of the Mirage, but you know, it's got a handover of owners, so we'll see where that goes. We got into the hall. The first thing that I saw was this JB Styles art, quite prominent. They do work for Tekken. I wanted to get into that Shinkiro autograph line by buying merchandise, but the merch line was a little too much for me, so instead I kind of pieced out, and it was Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls line time. You can see me right at the back of the line here. It took about an hour and a half. I even bypassed some of the crowd because I agreed to play on a DualSense controller. More shots on the line here. Right, the station's right in front, about to approach the stations. More shots, like just turning around, looking around the halls. And the game itself is pretty hype. This is the versus screen right here. It feels like it has DNA from the entirety of Arc System Works history. It's like an evolution of BlazBlue and Dragon Ball FighterZ merged into one. I really appreciate how impactful it was on an audio-visual level, particularly Maxwell Power's announcing. That was really such a joy to listen to. He does work for King of Fighters 15, among many other things, of course. I really still remember the way the lines fill in the background, so they gradually fill in to become a full comic like background, and that's really cool and distinct. I really felt like I could just jump in and just like do stuff. The motions were fairly familiar, but the one thing that was kind of a bit tricky was the assist mechanics. I didn't quite grasp the entirety of those, so hopefully we'll get our hands on that in the future. But even like the versus screen here, it's just like it really stands out from everything else that we've seen before. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing where the game heads. I think it's gonna be really neat. I want to approach other aspects of the expo space, so I wanted to check out the art gallery. So on the way to the art gallery, we had a bunch of monitors here. Someone lugged all these CRTs over here. And I really wanted to check out the PlayStation FlexStrike demo model here. So of course it's in case, so we couldn't actually like feel anything, but this build seems really thin. What really stood out to me was that the surface where the lever is on is actually beneath the lever where the buttons are, which I don't really think I've really seen in a stick before up to this point. The build is also really thin too. You can see a comparison to my hand here. Whether I have a giant hand or whether the stick is that slim, I'll leave it up to you. But general speaking, I think the build is pretty thin compared to my tournament edition 2 especially. You can see that my stick that I brought for pools matches is a bit of a chonker in comparison to this. And just another shot of length. The Arcade Stick Museum in general is all such a delight. I didn't really spend too much time over there this year compared to last year, but you can see all sorts of things, all sorts of cool models. This was pretty striking art-wise. And another thing is the prize sticks. Every single year, the sponsors that provide the prize sticks for the top 3 places each given tournament game on stage. So you can see Nakon's gold, silver, bronze sticks here. Of course, Nakon was quite prominent in general. I was sort of tempted to buy some things, but I was sort of strapped for cash, so I didn't really pick up any of these controllers. But I've been investigating an alternative to a DualSense, but I couldn't quite swing it this time around. But they were really pushing it. You can see like the free streaming mic part. I was like, they're really pushing hard, man. They're really going for it. Speaking of pushing for things, PlayStation's flaunting their ownership of the event with their PlayStation Summer sales. Definitely all sorts of poignant sort of sales that you can check out, right? They was really pushing the PlayStation Store. Of course, EVO just can't help but lean to Moment 37, but I thought this display is pretty neat. Right around the corner was a little station with Third Strike Online Edition where you could do the parry challenge, and I guess Daigo himself actually was there apparently, so that was kind of funny. The new thing for this year was this EVO art exhibition for fighting game characters. Last year featured a lot of prominent promotional posters, but this is more character focused. So these essentially like touch on the main stage games and then some. You can see Street Fighter Sagat right here. I thought it was really funny how Guilty Gear had Soul and Kai, wink wink. They often trust each other, right? SNK's Terry, he finds himself everywhere, of course. Mortal Kombat Scorpion, Virtua Fighter's Akira. With I cropped off Jinx right there, about to be part of the about to be part of the fighting game universe, right? Under Night's Hide, and you can see the artist in full featured here. So of course there's Reina on the left there, but also Shinkiro, the GOAT himself. He's such a big mainstay in the world of Capcom and SNK, just with such cool work. With the middle right being a new PC produced for EVO 2025. Grand Blue Fantasies Versutia. I thought this was particularly funny. Like their game's not exactly out yet, but yeah, sure, throw in Invincible. Why not? I mean, you know, it's about to be part of the fighting game universe, right? It's provided the game comes out. I mean, it'll come out, right? JB Styles does such prominent work for Tekken and other franchises as well. It's just the new design in the middle is pretty neat. Got postcards for both. And yeah, I briefly got to try out Ked in City of the Wolves. In stark contrast with last year's booth, there was really zero line to try him out on Friday. I appreciate how much of his Street Fighter 6 moveset made it over with all the dashes and Jinrai kicks and all that jazz. But even little touches like his dodge attack are a tribute to his old Street Fighter 3 Third Strike overhead. So that was pretty cool to see. You could do all sorts of challenges to get doodads. I didn't exactly do that though, but standees. And so 12 o'clock rolls around. It's time for my pool for Capcom vs. SNK 2. I should also mention this is the first year we've had the duo of Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection and Capcom Fighting Collection 2, which made actually setting things up way easier than they could have been. I don't suspect this bracket or Marvel would have been viable without their respective collections. So what a time to be in, right? It's super cool, and I'm still blown away by Fighting Collection 2. It's just such a dream compilation. But anyway, moving on to the pools. My initial opponent didn't show, so I was kind of sitting around for 30 minutes, and then Silent Scope showed up. He's renowned for his contributions to the Capcom vs. SNK 2 community. He's known for his combos challenges, and actually studied these combo challenges to prepare for this tournament. So of course I thanked him, and he was pretty nice, especially my stick doesn't have a touch button, so he helped me set things up, since the touchpad is actually used for like a pause button. But suffice to say, I got washed. He had the gnarliest chain I had ever seen. I couldn't really touch him. I tried to run K-Groove Honda Bison Blanca. I was probably figured out from the jump, but it was still quite fun. Shortly thereafter, I played against a K-Groove Maki Bison Kyo, and I ran some gimmickry with N-Groove Nakaruru Bison Blanca, and went down to the last character, and I almost took that game, but then I swapped over to K-Groove, and I was figured out, and I was knocked out. So, womp GG's. So I was on to wandering the halls once more. The Virtua Fighter booth was really cool. You can see all sorts of historical artifacts here, spanning Virtua Fighter's history. It's just so cool seeing Virtua Fighter come back, and we never could have really imagined that would happen. So really looking forward to the new one, of course. I watched JM Croft's game show. He's one of my favorite fighting game YouTube personalities. He ran a Jeopardy-like show. So this question is pretty notable if you play Marvel vs. Capcom. We all know it's Zero. He kind of breaks whatever games he's in. The joke that I had is that the three participants couldn't quite identify anything from SNK. So for instance, well, this is a Mortal Kombat background. It's like spot the background, and it's like a high fidelity hourglass. So given the fidelity, of course, is Mortal Kombat, right? But this is particularly funny. If you don't really know SNK's recent history, you wouldn't really know this one. It's from City of the Wolves. My favorite background, the science background. This question really got me. I was just like staring at it, and this is a funny little category where it had hybrid terminology. So it was both Eltnum the guess with numpad notation. It's a bit try-hard of an answer, but I really appreciated the effort. This question really really stuck out to me because it was my first Evo. So I was shouting out the answer. The guys around me didn't really know, but of course BlazBlue stepped out because Continuum Shift wasn't going to be out. The console version wasn't going to be out in time. So it was Actress. Again, takes me back to like Sunday finals when we were all in the back playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I think it was Kohaku mirrors on stage. They were just like on brooms, throwing projectiles or something or other. I really chuckled at round one. The prominent chain themselves were present with this Naruto booth. The Freeplay arcade is really cool. There's just so much to play each and every single time it's stacked with contemporary and throwback rhythm games, plenty of shmups, puzzle games, peripheral games, fighting games, you name it. It was just so cool, and there's just not enough time to play everything. I did a run of Ketsui Cave's Renowned Vertical Shmup on the left there. Kind of got blown up as Ketsui tends to do. And yeah, Puyo Champions / esports was here. More candy cabs with a Bat Rider in the middle there. Also Renowned Shoot 'em Up. And more shots of the arcade. I just couldn't get enough of just looking at how many cabinets there were. I played a little bit of Super Monkey Ball. I hadn't played the actual cabinet in such a long time, and I just love using the actual peripheral, and it's definitely pretty challenging, but I had a good time. Always loves actually playing with the actual hardware. It's fun. And I had never, as much of a shoot 'em up fanboy as I am, I actually hadn't heard of this one, Cyber and the Dragon Weapons. It's pretty neat. Mechanically, it's fairly straightforward, but the sci-fi and fantasy hybrid aesthetic was pretty cool. But yeah, there are games that you just won't even hear about, and you'll see them on the show floor. There actually was also a there was a Beyblade arcade game. I think it was Top Blade V. I had never heard of it before, but I was just in awe just watching someone play it. And it's just so cool seeing these things on the show floor. Another thing is that the event is great for cosplay photos. I'm here with Faku, Rum, and Nina at the Tekken booth. Of course, they're the newest characters in Tekken 8. And yeah, shortly thereafter, I said hi to these Dizzy and Justice cosplayers. I'm typically kind of shy with asking to take cosplay photos, but these are some of my favorite Guilty Gear characters, and actually some of my favorite fighting game characters of all time. So I had to ask, and they did such a wonderful job. I returned to the showcase stage, which I missed a lot of the panels because I was out doing other stuff earlier in the day, but Seth Killing was interviewing renowned Tekken player Arslan Ash, asking about his mindset, his patience in the middle of matches, how he knows when he's cracked a player, and how he feels confident about decision making and mind reading. So I couldn't stick around for the whole time, but it was just so cool hearing from Arslan himself. I wanted to tour the hall some more. There's a ginormous BYOC section. This was bigger than last year's, I feel. More, tournaments, something for everybody. And I also spent a bit of time in the artist alley in the far back of this shot. But last year I spent played so many demos day 1 and spectated so much on days 2 and 3 that I didn't really get to check out the artist alley as much, so I wanted to make up for it. So 5 p.m. rolls around. It's time for my Fatal Fury City, the Wolves Pool. I wasn't really particularly ready because I didn't really play the game all that much, but I went for it anyway. Despite the nerves I stuck with Hotaru, as she was the character I had played with the most during my limited online matches. A Donghuan player electrified me pretty quick with some high damage bread and butter combos. But then I was barely taken out and loses by a Rock Howard player, where I ate one too many Raging Storms. So suffice to say, I pretty much sank in pools, but the heart of the thing is that I actually didn't feel bad for losing. It all felt friendly as we were all sort of supporting each other. That was the most important part. The vibes were awesome. The Donghuan player was still afloat in pools, so I wish them luck, and I was free to roam the halls once more. I briefly tried out Invincible Versus. I definitely felt the lineage from Killer Instinct 2013. It lets you cancel and link moves freely, but the assist also felt pretty strong this time too. I remember a modifier button that basically turns actions into EX moves, which took a bit of adjustment. What really bamboozled me was sudden death, where my character just fell apart, literally lickety split. So that was a little weird, but I thought that was kind of funny as well. Grand Archive was a prominent sponsor. It was a Grand Archive ad whenever there were elegant characters on screen. And of course, Omo Chow was back too. With their Hololive promo. Or Omo Chow. Maybe next year there'll be some Sonic. We'll see. But it was double chicken tender time. We had to take a break from all of our shenanigans in the main hall. We're nearing the end of day 1. We approached the Marvel Tokon booth once more, but shortly thereafter was the Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls developer combat panel, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I really liked how they emphasized assembling and challenging themselves to create something new with 4v4. My favorite quote though was that they didn't want to have a mechanic to get rid of the reason to have a team in the first place, which kind of felt like a sideswipe at X Factor in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But definitely check this panel if you haven't already. Like, this looks chaotic, but man, it's so much fun. I just can't stop thinking about it. I really truly think this is the future of the genre. It's just gonna push things forward. I liked all the slight smack talking before the Betty versus Jaywong match, but I respected all the work they put in. It was just fun to watch. I didn't get to stick around for the whole thing, but yeah, it was pretty intense. We ended the night with K-barbecue, lots of bulgogi, spicy bulgogi, and bulgogi tacos even, so quite tasty, of course. Day 2 rolls around. I had a pretty tasty salmon bagel sandwich to start the day. Another shot of the coffee I got alongside the bagel, with another shot of that EVO bottle for good measure. An insightful quote from John Choi, renowned legendary player. I posed next to the jury inspired bike. So basically I want to do some cleanup with some of the booths that I didn't get to go to the previous day. I played as Sagat at the Capcom booth to get this really cool Capcom Fighting Collection 2 bag with distinct art on the back. I was a little unsure of how I would feel about this bag because of the rectangular art, but I think the art just makes up for it. This is like really cool. It's really neat, like just checking out all the characters at the same time. The Arc System Works fan art gallery with a cool variety of pieces. And I tried out Izumi at the Arc System Works booth, the new upcoming character for Under Night in Birth 2. Her fish and water-based shenanigans felt like it controlled space interestingly, though things like her command dash took some getting used to. But yeah, I'm a casual at the game. I love playing it. All the characters are just so distinct though. This was Soul's Ride at the Arxis booth. I wanted to play more indie games. I didn't really get to do that the previous day, so this was a game that took inspiration from other games like Super Puzzle Fighter. This was interesting. I thought the character movesets were a nice twist on things alongside the wider playfield. I think I need more time to get used to like the damage balance, but it was kind of a cool twist on established norms. The art for Frostfire Battle Legacy was really wild in. I thought all the characters were kind of whimsical and wacky and over the top in their own way. From any given point, you can look at the overhead monitor, the projection monitors. You could take a look at Marvel's Capcom 2 overlooking the halls. Bridget, the cutie pie Bridget. Just in a random pools match, apparently someone was repping. I caught a bit of the Mortal Kombat 1 finals. Sonic Fox's legendary. They're so cool. Such a established and renowned player, and they got their 8th match. They were so cool. And it was a pretty intense finals actually. Like I wasn't really sure how it would go at first, but Sonic Fox pulled through. Contrary to what you've seen on social media, there were plenty of people lined up to play 2XKO at the 2XKO booth. But there were actually multiple places to get your hands on the game. There was a 2XKO booth, there was a Chipotle booth, and there were some stations at the arcade. So you could really get your hands on the game. So it was it had a sizable presence. I don't play League of Legends, so I don't have a huge horse in this race, but from what little I've played, 2XKO seems pretty neat, and I hope the game does well, and I hope it lasts whenever it does come out. Right afterwards, I was sucked right back into the world of Capcom versus SNK 2. I love seeing S-Groove on the main stage. It hardly gets represented in tournaments, and it was just mind-blowing seeing all those dodges. And of course, John Choi, the legend himself. John Choi attempted to throw off the GOAT boss with a swap from Ken to Akuma, which did score some big damage at first, resulting in the super narrow game. But then in the next game, Boss took it, still undefeated in American tourneys, apparently. So this is a shot of the top 8 winners, and yeah, they had their prize sticks. This is such a cool, oh my gosh, it's so intense. It's gnarly seeing Capcom versus SNK 2 have a presence at an EVO. That was really cool. At the same time was Under Night in Birth 2 on the in the arena, so I was trying to glance over and watch it the best I could, but it was kind of hard from where I was standing. Things are really stacked. So I ran over to the arena. It was pretty gnarly seeing Defiant reset the bracket to take the whole thing. That was just super cool. And yeah, man, yeah, Under Night. It's just I can't really wrap my brain around it, but it's such a cool game. I wanted to check out the cosplay contest not too long after. I love the top 8 finalists. Right here, you can see the judges cosplay as Sienko, Sarah Bryant, and Soul Bad Guy. Manon themselves. And you can see some more of the top. You can see some of the top 8 right here. Vikala from Grand Blue, alongside Armika from Street Fighter, and this Marvel Tokon Iron Man, which apparently took just a week, which is crazy. That's mind blowing. You can see Cell, who had the voice as well, and Cagliostro from Grand Blue. And this gore was just gnarly. They took a while to get set up on stage, but just actually being able to see, like, actually getting that set up, man, it's just a mind-boggling amount of work. You can see all 8 finalists here. We have Street Fighter's Aki and Guilty Gear's Jacko. And man, again, narrowing this down from the full 50 contestants must have been extremely challenging. I can't even fathom it, but yeah, again, the top 8 is just so cool. More Goro. And got Kamehameha right here. But yeah, just, oh man, again, so impressive. We got the giant check. They get to choose wherever the top winner gets to choose which Evo they want to attend in the future, whether it's Paris, Japan, or Vegas. I believe they chose Japan, which is, I feel like that would probably be my pick as well. So normally I don't actually watch pools on day 2 that Saturday night, but I met up with my friend Dashno Chris, who knew a group hyping up Taco, a super strong Kimberly player. So I watched a bunch of matches, and as you can see, the crowd is pretty thick. It's actually like hard to see matches on the monitors here, just like actually like looking over the bunch of players. You can see some renowned players on the floor like Daigo and Blaz. Street Fighter 6, of course, has a huge bracket, so you just had to play a lot of games to stay in pools, to stay afloat. Players were getting knocked out with 9 wins and 2 losses. And yeah, that might actually like get you further in other games, but in Street Fighter 6, just because of how many players there were, like you're just gonna have to keep playing, man. Our group went over to have Giordano's deep dish Chicago style pizza. You can see this little appetizer sandwich here. The pizza in its full glory with some thick slices is quite nice and fantastic. And day 3 rolls around. I got some carne asada and carnitas tacos, and it was nice seeing the meat grilled right in front of us, and that guac was a fantastic way of topping it off, of course. So day 3 is basically like arena top 8 day. Of course, might be briefly touching on some of the results, so there may be some spoilers, but yeah, I basically stuck around from Guilty Gear Strive's second half all the way to Street Fighter 6. And seeing a Potemkin in top 8 really blew me away. I used to play Potemkin in older Guilty Gear games. I never in a thousand years would have necessarily expected Potemkin in a Strive top 8, so that was super cool. Though throughout the bracket, I was actually rooting for Red Ditto with that Southern California magic, which is kind of funny because I actually am not the biggest fan of Ramlethal, their character, but yeah, I gotta root for the hometown, right? Yeah. But unfortunately, Red Ditto couldn't quite close it out. But it was a close final set. This has been making the rounds, of course. When Goichi won over Koji Kog in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Unbeknownst to me, Koji was actually reenacting an earlier moment from a decade ago when Goichi won in an Aquapaza match, but the free kill was pretty over the top, so wasn't really sure exactly what was happening. I hope they were going to be okay, but they were just acting, it seems. They were just acting. I thought this was actually really funny. I don't think I've ever seen like Goichi do this pose, so that was fun. But yeah, it's just the theatrics. You don't really expect these theatrics to happen. With the shrug was also really funny too. Oh man, it was just like crazy over the top. So I did appreciate Hotaro in top 8, but it wasn't quite meant to be. Goichi and Fenrich were really putting in the work. I had no idea that Kain could score that much damage, but it was really mind-boggling to see. And after a pretty climactic grand finals where we weren't really sure how it was going to end up, the top 8 were on stage here with a really cool trophy, a really fun design. Tekken 8 rolls around. I hadn't really kept up with Season 2, so it threw me off when I saw this Pac-Man stage in motion. Hadn't seen it in motion before. But what further threw me off was Clive. It was really cool seeing Clive here. Shortly thereafter, Final Fantasy XVI's Away played, one of my favorite songs in the entire Final Fantasy series. Really dramatic and over the top. And yeah, I'm a big Final Fantasy 16 fan, so this is just so surreal to me. It really threw me off that he was in top 8. But just in general speaking, yeah, it was cool seeing Clive. But of course, things boiled down to an Anna versus Anna mirror before a character swap happened, so it was a Williams sisters fight, which was gnarly to see. Street Fighter 6 rolls around. It's mind-blowing as it always is. We had some announcements that we were relatively aware of before. They showed the Crimson Viper trailer, which they had revealed earlier in the day, and there was also the outfit 4, the long-awaited outfit 4 DLC, which was shown in motion to much fanfare. There was a bit of a face-off between Menardi and Kakaru. I took a snapshot before the face-off actually happened. Mena got up close. That was kind of tense on stage there. But yeah, Mena took it. It was really hype over. It was really over the top, and it's just so gnarly seeing a Blanca just take it. Blanca be my among my favorite Street Fighter characters, if not my most, and such a treat for everyone. As we're leaving, the sphere displayed some really cool cacti treat for me. I spent a bit more time in Vegas the following day. Here's New York. And one of my favorite spots, the Hello Kitty Cafe. You can see my My Melody and Kuromi cake. That's sort of the ongoing promotion given the anniversaries, alongside some matcha cold brew and some cute stickers. The cake in its infinitely sparkly and decorated glory here. And also swung by Pink Gorilla. This location just opened up. They are known for having all sorts of games up in Seattle. They also have a booth at PAX West usually, but it was really neat checking out this Vegas location. All sorts of varied goods across the generations. I was briefly at Game Nest for I think the first time in about 5-ish years before the Rona happened. And yeah, then it was time to take off. It was time to go home. So a bit of a Vegas shot. But yeah, I had to get in those rhythm games and all sorts of gnarly things like the Monster Hunter racing game. That was really cool. I don't think I was aware that was a thing, but you basically have a Poogie shaped controller shaped like a pig, and there was this Gaia Attack 4 light gun game with like sorts of over the top I guess you could say like renowned historical locations, but with UFOs, because why not? But that game kind of wrecked me. But yeah, in summary, EVO is full of heart. You can meet so many players and creators in unexpected ways, as they'll just be on the show floor. There's just so much to do and watch, so much that's impossible to do everything. EVO has a lot that you won't experience on stream, whether it's the game demos, the booths, the artist alleys, the arcade, the bring your own controller setup, which is just growing in size, casual stations, so on. I've spoken with some people who didn't even enter brackets, and they had a good time. And so even though I appreciated the 2 bracket pool sessions that I did have, it's not obligatory to actually compete. So if you're remotely interested in the fighting game genre, I would definitely recommend giving it a shot at least once. I'm sure next year Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls will show up as a main stage title. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen, and I'm sure those numbers will be stratospheric, so it should be pretty hype. But yeah, for now that's all I've got. Thank you for watching this photo reel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks a bunch.